Hi, everybody. This is Dan again at 66 Degrees, your premier partner at Google Cloud. Today's really going to be awesome. We have our Google Workspace customer engineering team on the call today. We're going to be reviewing our favorite features that were launched here in Q3. So today we have Nathan West and Taylor Grandstaff, and I'm going to hand it over to Taylor to introduce himself. Hey, Taylor, how you doing?
Doing great. So my name's Taylor Grandstaff. I'm a newer addition to the customer engineering team over here for Workspace. I have been in the Google ecosystem from the partner side since about 2014. So excited to share some things with you today.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us. It's going to be a really cool call. And next up is Nathan West. Hey, buddy. How are you doing?
Doing great, man. My name is Nathan West. I am also a newer addition to the customer engineering team here at 66 Degrees. Came from a partner, a customer rather, and I have been involved with Google Workspace since probably 2016 or 2018, and just super pumped to get into all these new and upcoming features.
Sweet. And we're going to get right into it, right? So we work together every day, right? We're very lucky in the sense to have like access to even the NDA roadmap, but we can't share that unfortunately on these types of calls. But we collectively thought it'd be a good idea to chat about our fave features of Q3. And Nathan, I think you're going to start us off with
calendar appointment scheduling.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, so as Dan was saying, we're going to just get right into it. And my favorite feature that's been released in Q3 was calendar appointment scheduling. I know that back when I was a customer, that was one of our biggest features that we were always asking for was calendar appointment scheduling. Many use cases for it. Obviously, the convenience of external folks trying to access your calendar and schedule time to meet with you. The cool thing about it now is that they've made it really convenient to add it to websites, personal websites, business websites, things of that nature, which is really actually cool because instead of just having to deal with just the calendar itself, you can embed an appointment scheduling button into your own personal or business website as well. You can customize it pretty much. You can get email notifications. You can choose how you want to meet with your customers that are picking appointments with you, and you can customize your availability to let people know exactly when you're available, and you can go from there. And it's basically it.
What's really cool about it is that you're able to share it. You know, before the appointment scheduler, you could set appointment slots, right? But you would have to have like access to your calendar to see those appointment slots. It wasn't public. You'd have to like manually share it with somebody, those types of things. There's like a permission issue. And now you're able to define your own appointment schedule and share it, much like the other calendar application that everybody knows ends with an LY, has calendar in it too. But I think this is such a really huge advantage to having visibility to your calendar without having to jump through a lot of hoops. And I think I'm going to try something live, which is always not a good idea, but we're going to do it anyway. So if we look at our calendar, right? So this is a demo account. You can easily do this by just hitting create and then appointment schedule. And it brings you to this whole thing and gives you all sorts of options. We're not going to go through the whole thing here, but once it's done, you'll get a booked link, basically your appointment link, and then you can put it in your signature, send it in chats, those types of things too. So I thought it was, it's really awesome to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. I've used it. I used it a little bit when I was switching away from a competitor. There was a popular marketing tool that had some of these features built in, and they did a pretty good job. But Google, the new version, just to be clear, appointment slots is old, and this is the appointment scheduling solution. But the options are great. You can limit the number of appointments in a day. You can put buffer times in there, things that you would normally only, those are some really kind of high end features that make it really, really nice. So buffer times are great because I like to use that after a meeting to make sure I do all the follow up stuff, right? So that leaves me a little bit of time after those appointments to finish up the work that I just did on that appointment.
Totally.
Yeah.
That
plus the fact that it's obviously native within Google, so you don't have to worry about having a third-party application to deal with. It's all readily built into your platform, so that's a huge benefit.
You can have multiple schedules as well too, so you can have different ones with different parameters, etc., for different audiences because you control the audience by who you give the link to.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. It's basically the best feature ever. So whatever.
And that was, I think that was released around when. So if you're not, it's funny because there was, I think I have a note here, released back in actually March. July. You're right. Sorry, my bad. July 12th was when it was rolled out, and I think people still don't know about it. Like, is there this thing? So Nathan, that's awesome to bring up and talk about. And with that, we're going to move right over to Taylor. What is your fave feature for Q3?
I think it's a big one that we've been kind of waiting on a while, trust rules. So Drive trust rules, it's in an open beta right now. It was released in July for that open beta. The reason I think they're doing an open beta, it makes sense, is just because, you are converting the old standard Drive sharing rules to or global settings. So you're going from like a policy, a global setting, to kind of this rule framework that Google's really moving to for most everything, right? So by turning that on, you're able to open up and control sharing in a lot of really interesting ways. And this meets many, many, many businesses' challenging kind of requirements. Right now, they might just be doing this with training and saying, don't share files outside of finance if you're in finance, right? Mm-hmm. But you can actually codify this and force this. So if you have a highly restrictive environment, or you need certain certifications or compliance requirements for government, etc., you can really restrict certain types of data and certain OUs. So previously, with the old way of doing things, you could set up some per OU sharing controls, but you didn't have a lot of control internally. So this really unlocks the ability to control this inside of larger companies internally, where you have departments that have very kind of different responsibilities, and you need to set up those guardrails around that information. Great example, just a simple one, is you've got finance, and maybe finance should only share files directly with the executives. They should never share files directly to the rest of the company. You can easily set that up using this. Or perhaps you have some contractors that should only ever share things directly to their managers, right? And so you could set up those relationships. The big difference here, to kind of break it down just a little bit, is in scope controls and condition controls of these types of rules. So the old Drive share settings, all you could do was include organizational units and groups in some of those by using security groups. And the only other conditions you had were either entire organization or allow listed domains. Now we're able to expand both of those sets of parameters, so you have lots and lots of options, because it allows you to kind of create these intricate rules internally to make sure you back it up. But you can exclude organizational units and exclude groups now with trust rules. So that allows you to set up that blocking mechanism where you need those guardrails. And then the different conditions, you also can work off of external organizations, organizational units, groups, and users internally as well. So you can just have exceptions for an individual user, like a CEO. So with this, you could pretty much accomplish any kind of sharing, permission set you might need. This does apply to shared drives. All you have to do is put your shared drive in an OU, and whatever rules you set for that OU, whatever trust rules you set for that OU would apply to that shared drive as well too. So really, really useful shared drives.
Yeah. And I think, that's awesome. I think we can all agree we've been waiting for this for a long time. It's been on the roadmap for I feel like 2 to 3 years, something like that. But one thing I think to add to that too is the layers that Google allows you to do on top of this too, like with the advent of the labels, right? You can help identify these sensitive documents on top of these drive trust rules. So there's a whole bunch of stuff from a security perspective, I think, that Google's really ramped up on and have really concentrated on, and drive trust rules is like you said, huge. So.
Yeah, and it kind of feeds into that rule engine that they built into the admin console now. So, rules is a top level menu item on the left there, because there's so many things that are getting moved into rules, right? And so I think over time we're going to see, that get a lot of attention and love over the next couple of years. I think we're going to see that area grow.
Cool. Yeah. Awesome. That's great stuff. And I think, moving to what my favorite feature would be, there's a lot too. I will say, in like a lot of prep time, we've been wanting to do this for a long time, and we're like, well, which one do we want to do? I think it was something like 1,800 updates last year alone. So, but I think this is exciting for us to like really focus in on some of our favorite features, and mine is more of a unified experience with Gmail logs and BigQuery. Now, just a little backstory on this is as a Google admin, we all know, or we should all know, that after 180 days, log data is purged from the environment, right? Google has helped with that in the enterprise edition of Google Workspace to export those logs into BigQuery. But the way it stands right now, there's like a couple of different data sets that you have to navigate through, apparently. It's going to be more unified with this. So just kind of look out for the change. If you're using this already today, it's only going to impact you in the sense of how you currently work with it. But I think it's a great change in the sense of having a single source of truth. We all love that. We always hear it, right? Sorry to use a buzzword, but single source of truth is always a good thing to have. And especially when dealing with log data and data sets, it's really going to be benefit being able to use that data in BigQuery. There's been a lot of questions like, well, this is great. All the logs are being captured. How do I use it, right? So, I mean, you can use it. You can use connected sheets, right, through Google Sheets. If you're savvy with SQL, of course you can do that in BigQuery. But I think building this bridge of having a single source of truth, not only for investigations, but also perhaps like more of a dashboard of sorts that you can maybe even connect to with Data Studio or Looker or whatever the case may be. So that was released August 8th, and it should be rolled out to everybody as well. So I think all the stuff that we're talking about today should be available to you, and is available to you as well. So I know.
The logs. I think there's some really good value, and it's really deep value if you think about it with Google here, because they're exposing all of GCP availability here with BigQuery. So you get your data in there, you can run through those sets very, very quickly. You can smash that data against any other data you might have somewhere else.
Yep.
Pull it into Data Studio and make some really awesome stuff. And you might find out something too by, starting to correlate some data from your email over with, your CRM or your ERP system or whatever it is, and start to correlate some things together and figure out, okay, how many emails does it take to close a deal? X, whatever. And start to kind of get an idea of what some of those actions look like, the cadence, things like that, and start to smash that data in. It gets really, really interesting that you can expose a lot of that, because so much of your day-to-day action of your employees is just hiding in that email activity.
Totally. Awesome. Great. So those are our top three for the Q3, and we're going to quickly go into our quick hits for features. Let me see if this works. Right. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but these are our quick hits for features. I think I'm going to start real quick is draft email templates and docs. Right. So if you haven't seen this yet, or know about the @ feature in Google Docs, check it out. Like even stop this video, go check it out, open up a new doc, hit @ a new menu is going to show up for you. You can do like project management features like progress and a started, not started, on hold, those types of things automatically, meeting notes, dates, people, those types of things. But this particular feature is bringing in an email draft feature. Personally, the way that I've worked in the past in correlating and collaborating with people, especially in what we do for our jobs, is you'd either have a doc and you put it in Arial, whatever, or whatever font it is, and you still could collaborate on it. But if you copy and pasted it into Gmail, it would be unformatted, and you couldn't make comments, and it was just kind of cumbersome. You could still do it, but it's not exactly the best way to collaborate. So I'm going to just throw this up real quick, and if I can share my screen appropriately. Real quick, if I go @ email, it says email draft, and it pulls in all of the information that you need to create an email. So to CC, blind carbon copy, subject, and then you would write your content here. And then once I'm all done, I click this, and it's going to bring up a new window to then actually send the email. Now, again, just stepping back, I went through that pretty quick, but if Nathan and Taylor and I are working on this, we could add comments, instantly, collaborate on it, and be like, within minutes, send this out. It's awesome. I love it. And I suggest you check it out. What's the next quick hit? Who wants to talk?
I'll take this one.
All right.
It's fantastic. It's the push to talk feature.
Yay.
In Google Meet. Yep. So for the longest time, forever, you would have to manually mute and unmute yourself if you didn't have an external microphone that had that ability. And I know that a lot of other platforms did give you the option to mute yourself with a button press. But now Meet is allowing you to press and hold your space bar to unmute yourself to be able to talk. So there's no actual clicking of a button or anything like that in order to turn it on and off. It's just, you want to talk, push the button, say what you got to say, let go of it, good to go. So I know that a lot of communication platforms for gaming works the same way. It's kind of just a push to talk feature.
Yeah.
So most everybody that has ever touched a computer is pretty familiar with that type of concept. And it just makes it super easy and convenient to continue doing that kind of stuff. I mean, how embarrassing is it to leave your microphone unmuted and, to burp and then everybody hears you? But with push to talk, you can actually just, push the button, say what you got to say, and let go of it, and then you can burp in peace.
So, well, I mean, noise canceling does help with that, but if there's anything else in the back, that really helps for me if my kids are home or something like that, because noise canceling will recognize human voice, right? So, but and maybe a burp. I haven't heard that yet, but either way, it's definitely helped. The caveat is that you have to have that window in focus and it enabled in the settings. So make sure if you don't see this, click the 3-dot menu in Meet, go to audio settings, then go to audio, and then it'll say push to talk. It'll be visible for you there. So cool. Last quick hit.
I've got one. Assigning tasks from Docs. So this kind of plays off of the Smart Canvas stuff you were talking about, Dan. One of the Smart Canvas templates is meeting notes, and in the meeting notes, there's action items. I think you can do them separately as well too, but those action items are now linked to tasks. It's so cool. Long awaited feature, absolutely, if you want to show it off while I'm talking about it. So once you create those meeting notes, what happens is you get some note area and a action item area, and he's assigning a task right there. You can assign it to someone, you can put a date, and then it automatically syncs to their Google Tasks so they can view that inside of Gmail or any of the areas where there's a sidebar. So right there in the sidebar, you'd be able to see all your tasks too, which we don't want to see Dan's tasks, but
it's a demo account. It's fine. There's nothing there. So
I know I was playing around, but yeah, so it shows up there. And then if you update it in either place, it'll ask you if you want to update the other one. So you can optionally keep them synced as you kind of move around. So one thing I noticed is I like to put the name of the company we're working with in the task, because when it shows up in my Google Task, I don't have the context of the document to know that. So I'll put like dash company name somewhere in the task so I can quickly identify it in my task list.
Cool. I should actually, you could do that there, Liz. All right. Awesome. Gentlemen, this was great. Our first of hopefully many favorite features from Google Workspace. This one happens to be Q3. But Nathan, Taylor, thanks so much for joining us today. And I'm very much looking forward to doing this again in the near future. So take care, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Bye, everybody.
All right.